Welcome back to the Nile Forensic Archive. I am Mr. Yol. Today we open an expanded cold case file on 1956, a year of independence, but also the year a fragile unity began to splinter under the weight of decades of structural disparity. Our investigation begins not in 1956, but in 1924. The Monroe-Wheatley line was more than a border. It was a scar across the Bahr el Arab, or Kir River, detaching the Maluel Dinka from their northern neighbors. Unity was not just a political choice, it was a structural impossibility, built on a foundation of deliberate geographic and administrative isolation that predated the Republic by generations. Layer 1. Education. The colonial machine did not educate a nation, it engineered two separate intellectual worlds, fundamentally incapable of speaking the same administrative language. In the North, education was centralized and professionalized. Gordon Memorial College was the laboratory for a new ruling class, integrated directly into the British colonial bureaucracy. In the South, education was outsourced to Christian missions. The focus was vocational and spiritual, deliberately detached from the halls of political power in Khartoum. The 1928 Rajaf Language Conference codified this split, choosing local Nilotic languages over Arabic for Southern schooling. It was a forensic masterstroke of linguistic isolation. By 1956, the North had a state-ready bureaucracy. The South had a mission-bound workforce. This was the first structural crack that no political bridge could cross. Layer 2, the Southern policy. This was the British strategy of divide and rule, made manifest in legal code, treating the South as a human zoo under glass. The Closed Districts Order effectively quarantined the South. It prevented Northern influence, Arabic language, and Islamic culture from ever taking root in the Nilotic heartlands. Treating the South as a separate, protected entity, the British required passports for internal travel, ensuring the Jing and Nath remained strangers to their northern counterparts. For decades, isolation was the law. Then in 1946, a sudden pivot. With a stroke of a pen, the British declared unity, but you cannot decree unity into a structure designed for division. Layer 3. Economics. Infrastructure is the bloodline of a state. In Sudan, the colonial bloodlines were designed to flow only toward the Mediterranean. The data is undeniable. The railway system was built for cotton extraction from the Gezira scheme. The South, meanwhile, was left in a transport vacuum, ignored by the colonial ledger. While the North received bridges and telegraph lines, the Southern economy remained stagnant and subsistence-based, locked out of the modern world by geography and neglect. This wasn't just poverty, it was a structural barrier. The Nilotic homelands were left as islands, unable to trade, unable to grow, and fundamentally unable to integrate. The final layer, the 1947 Juba Conference. It was the moment the blueprint for unity was presented to the Southern chiefs and the moment the flaws became fatal. Southern leaders representing the Jeng, Nath, and Shilluk were asked to join a legislative assembly in Khartoum, a city they did not know, for a nation that had only just been imagined. The promise was unity with safeguards, but safeguards require constitutional teeth. In the rush to 1956, those safeguards remained as ghost notes in the archival record, never honored. The forensic peak of this exclusion came in 1954 with the Sudanization of the civil service. Out of 800 senior posts vacated by the departing British, only 6 were assigned to Southerners. This was more than a missed opportunity. It was a structural erasure. The South was being systematically removed from the very administration meant to govern its future. This betrayal sealed the fate of a unified state. When the 1956 tricolour flag was raised, the South entered the Union not as a partner, but as a territory. The structural fragility had reached the point of total collapse. By late 1955, the tension had reached a flashpoint. The South felt like a colony of a colony. The fragilities we have documented, educational, economic, and political, were no longer academic. They were the catalysts for the coming conflict. The story of Sudanese unity is often told as a failure of politics, but through the forensic lens, it is a story of an impossible architecture, a house built on sand. Disparate education, isolationist policies, and infrastructure voids ensured that unity was only a word on a map, never a reality on the ground for the people of the South. History is not just what happened, it is why it happened. I am Mr. Yol, your armchair historian. Stay curious and stay critical. Join us next time for episode 4, Early Tensions Rise.